Let's say you have a table full of data and you're asked to draw a scatter plot of that data. Would you know how to do that? In today's video, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be showing you how to draw a scatter plot and basically what you want to be thinking about as you do that. So by the end of this video, you should feel a lot more confident in understanding scatter plots, how to read them, how to draw them, and what they mean. If that sounds good to you, be sure to stick around to the end of the video. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to sketch a scatter plot of the data shown in the table. The table shows the number Y of Walmart stores for each year X from 1996 through 2003. Basically what this problem is telling us is we have the number of stores, which is demonstrated by the variable Y, and then in the year X. So X is the year that we're looking at the data for. So essentially in this table here, we have two columns. We have in the left column, the year that we took the measurement. And then in the right column, we have the number of stores that Walmart had during that year. So essentially to make a scatter plot, all you really have to do is start by sketching essentially your horizontal and your vertical axis. So this is basically, typically your horizontal axis is going to be time, not necessarily always, but that's probably the most common thing that you'll see. And then in your vertical axis, you're going to have whatever the thing is that you're plotting. So in this case, it's number of stores, or Y. So another thing to kind of just point out here, obviously, since we're starting at the year 1996 and going up through 2003, we don't necessarily want to start labeling our x-axis at 0. Also, the number of stores is starting at 3,054, so we don't really want to start our y-axis labeling at 0. So you may see this kind of like zigzaggy axis line. Basically what that means is you're kind of skipping over some numbers. So essentially what we'll do is we'll start labeling at, I don't know, the number of stores is going to go from 3,054 up to 4,900. So from about 3,000 to 5,000 is probably the range we want to label. So we'll probably just start labeling at 3,000. So this kind of squiggly line just means that we skipped from 0 to 3,000 basically. And the reason you put that is because you can see kind of the scale of this line down to this axis here represents 3,000. But then going up to here, let's say, to the top of our y-axis that we've drawn here, we're going to go up 2,000 more. So obviously the scale of this little chunk being 3,000, this big chunk being 2,000 is not equal. So that's why you kind of put that squiggly line. It's basically saying that we're skipping over all these numbers down here that we don't really want to worry about drawing, so that we can kind of zoom in on the part we actually care about, which is from 3,000 to 5,000. So then I'll just split this into kind of some smaller pieces. We'll label it 4,000, 4,500, 3,500. So that kind of the area where all of our data points actually lie is kind of spread out and kind of zoomed in on as much as possible. Okay, so then similarly over here, we're basically just going to label all our years. So we're going to have 1996, 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. And then we'll just label them. So obviously I've kind of shorthanded these, just written the final 2 digits of the years, but that's okay. Just kind of because we're trying to fit all these in a small space. And then really what a scatter plot is it's basically just graphing on a Cartesian plane, which basically just means a plane where you can imagine basically, obviously I don't have full graph paper drawn here, but you can kind of just imagine this on just squares. So we have all these squares where the edges, the top, the bottom, the right, the left edge of each of these squares or rectangles is created by these different markings that we've made on our axes. So essentially to graph these points now, we're just going to look at an XY pair, which just means go to this number on your x-axis. So we're going to go to, I'll get rid of these lines here. We're going to go to 1996 on our x-axis, which is right here. And then we're going to go to 3,054 on our y-axis, which obviously we don't have 3,054 labeled here, but it's going to be just above 3,000. Let's just say right about here. And then basically what we want to do is draw a vertical line up from 1996 and a horizontal line over from 3054. And wherever those intersect is where we want to draw our point. So we'll just draw our point right there. Let me erase the lines and just put our point right there. So that's one of the points of our scatter plot, okay? Then to find our next point, we would just go to x equals 1997, so right here. Y equals 3406, 3406, which is probably right about here. I'm just kind of estimating, but that's kind of the idea when you have these units which are kind of randomly dispersed within these different intervals. Sometimes getting as close as you can is good enough. So we just kind of go horizontally over from here, vertically up from here, and wherever those would intersect is about where we want to put our point. And then we just keep doing that for each of these XY pairs. So then 1998, 3599 is going to be probably right about here. 1999, 3985, so 1999. 3985 is going to be very close to 4,000, so almost exactly at 4,000. So straight over from there, puts us right about there. 2000, 4189, so 2000 on the x-axis. 4189 over here is probably going to be right about here, so. Okay, and then 2001, 4414, 2001, 4414 is going to be pretty close to 4500, but not quite. So obviously my scale's not perfect here. I'm trying to do this without the horizontal and vertical grid lines going throughout this. It definitely would be a little bit easier if you had actual graph paper with your actual grid lines going throughout. But I'm just trying to get, as close as I can without having those kind of guiding lines going throughout. 2002 is going to be right here, and then 4688 is going to be a little bit above 4500, obviously decent amount below 5000, so below halfway, so probably right about here, and then up from there, so we're going to be right about there. And then 2003, 4906, 2003 is here. 4906 is pretty close to 5,000, not quite there though. So probably right about there. So this is basically what we end up with as a scatter plot. That pretty much is everything that we have to do here. Well, I hope you're feeling a lot better about scatter plots now, and you found this video helpful. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like button down below, and hit that subscribe button and bell icon while you're down there too. If you're one of the 98% of people watching this video who's not subscribed to my channel, just hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be having plenty more videos like this one on the topics of calculus and pre-calculus that I'm sure you'll find helpful. You can also click right over there instead. Thanks, and see you next time.